Welcome, everyone. This is Mike from ZozoStockWatch.com, and this is your Let's Get Ready for the Week Ahead, February 19th through February 23rd. Don't fight the Fed. Don't fight the Fed. That's what I'm hearing on financial networks. Don't fight the Fed. Interest rates are a concern right now. Is the Fed going to raise rates 3 times this year, 4 times this year? How fast are the rates going to rise? Is the Fed looking to slow down the economy, slow down inflation? The jobless numbers are at the lowest ever. So don't fight the Fed. That's what I'm hearing a lot on financial networks. Stocks rebounded for the best week, but stocks did close off the highs on Friday. We had mixed markets Friday. The Dow Jones was up 19, the Nasdaq was down 16, and the S&P was plus 1. Stocks paired gains after some news came out that there was Russian interference into the 2016 elections. So the market pulled back from its highs on that news, and but still the Dow closed up 19. But we did have mixed markets as the SPY and the markets pulled off their session highs. Is the Fed going to raise rates? How much? How fast are they going to raise rates? The markets are trying to get a feel for the new Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, as Janet Yellen is no longer the Fed chair. And so we're going to have to see how that all plays out. What we do have coming up for the week ahead, though, the markets are closed in the United States for Monday the 19th, as that is President's Day. Tuesday for economic, and this courtesy of the trade exchange. Not very much economic information coming out Tuesday, but Wednesday we start getting into the economic information. We have MBA mortgage applications coming out at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. That could affect the home builders. We do have some Fed speak at Patrick Harker at 9 a.m. 10 o'clock we have existing home sales, 9:45 PMI composite flash. 2 o'clock, we do have FOMC minutes. And then at Fed Speak, Neil Kashkari will speak at 8:15 p.m. On Wednesday the 21st, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Also note that the API crude oil data will be coming out at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's on Wednesday the 21st. For Thursday the 22nd, we have initial jobless claims at 8:30, 10 o'clock, leading indicators, more Fed speak coming up for Thursday the 22nd. William Dudley will be speaking at 10 o'clock. We also have Raphael Bostic. He'll be speaking at 12:10 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. Now, because of the holiday on Monday, we do have the Nat Gas report coming out at 10:30, and we also have the oil numbers coming out at 11 o'clock for the EIA petroleum oil status. So that gets switched to Thursday at 11 o'clock. As far as leading indicators, that'll be out at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. For Friday, a lot of Fed speak again on Friday, 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, William Dudley, 1:30 Loretta Mester, and at 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time, Fed speak from John Williams. Okay, so Fed speak this week you see here in the red. As far as the earnings coming out, believe it or not, Monday after the close, even with the markets closed, we have Mosaic, Crush, Grupo, and Carmart all reporting earnings after the bell Monday, even though there is no bell, but they were reporting Monday. Tuesday before the open, though, we really get into. We have Walmart. All right, Home Depot, Domino's Pizza. We also have Medtronic, Duke Energy, Six Flags, Noble Energy. The big one here, though, is Walmart. All right, Walmart and Home Depot. Those will be watched closely for the retail aspect of it. Then after the close Tuesday, we have Transocean. We have Lending Club, American Water. Fluor, which is an oil service company, Fluor. And then on Wednesday, before the bell, let's see if Garmin will be reporting. Holly Frontier, which is a refiner, HFC symbol there. McDermott, Dish, US Silica. After the close on Wednesday, Roku, ROKU, symbol there for Roku, Pandora, letter P, Stamps.com, Avis Budget Group, Jack, Wendy's, WEN, symbol there, and that's Wednesday after the bell. Thursday before the bell, CHK, which has been just getting drilled, going lower and lower, CHK, Lending Tree, Wayfair, symbol there, W. And then we have Hormel also. Newmont Mining will be reporting Thursday before the bell. For Thursday after the bell, Redfin, that's a recent IPO. GoDaddy, GDDY, Hewlett Packard, Planet Fitness are coming out with earnings after the bell Thursday. Before the bell on Friday, we have a Huntsman. Let's see if there's anybody else. PSE&G, LifePoint, Pinnacle will be reporting before the bell on Friday. So this is courtesy of Earnings Whispers, and this is your most anticipated, your top earnings coming up for the week of February 19th through the 23rd. Fear and greed index still down near the extreme fear, the oversold area on the fear and greed, and this courtesy of CNN Money. It's their oscillators. It's money.cnn.com fear and greed index, and currently at 18. We've been as high as 79 in this run, and now we've been as low as about 10, and now we're kind of at this 18 level on the fear and greed index. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the insider transaction ratios here. Not still to the bullish side. So insiders are not selling off. This courtesy of Barron's. As you see, if we move up, that gets into the bearish area. Still remaining in the bullish camp here for the insider transaction ratio. So insiders are not selling off at this point in time. So let's look at some markets. We'll start with the SPY daily and note the action here. The bulls did show up here at the 200 SMA. I'm sure you've heard it. We did get that beautiful bounce off the 200. You couldn't have predicted it any better. Everybody was watching this 200 SMA, and that's very unusual for the markets just to to act the way everybody's thinking. You figure they would have broke through the 200 and then maybe come up through it, but pretty much a perfect bounce here off the 200 SMA for the SPY and a lot of markets. Now, we've been trending up. We do have a little bit of a suspect candle here. As I said, the market did retrace some of its gains from Friday. We did get up to about that 275 area and then pull back from it. This was after the comments that came out on that investigation of the Russian meddling in the 2016 election. So we did get a little bit of a push down, and I guess you could kind of call this an inverted hammer here, where you have some indecision up here as we did hit that 275 spot. We also had a high back here on this candle of 275.85. So, maybe some of the steam got let out of the market after this nice push up. Maybe the bulls got a little tired, a little buying exhaustion set in as we got close to the 20 SMA. This number you see here in the blue, 272, that's basically around this 50 SMA, the dark blue line that you see there. And if you take the highs, all right, if you take the highs of this candle right here, all right, so this high candle here, that gave us 286.63, all right, and then you take the low here, which was 252.92. You add those together, divide by 2. Our midpoint area, all right, on this run from here to down here, right, is 270. That's the midpoint of this run. So that's going to be a pretty important number going forward. This 272 is the around the 50 SMA, and then this 270 number you see here, this yellow line, that's the midpoint of this recent run and pullback. So those are two numbers to watch, and then of course, the 275 area to see if we're going to get continuation. So three important numbers: 275 area, 272, 270, the midpoint to watch. If the bulls are going to, keep us moving up here, or can they get us through this 275? Are the bears going to break this 272 number, the 50 SMA? And then after that, are the bulls or the bears, the buyers, the sellers going to hold us up here at 270, or are they going to break us back down for maybe a possible, retest of the 200 SMA on the SPY? Let's go ahead and look at the SPY on the weekly. As you can see, we're kind of holding above the 20 SMA here on the weekly, the red line you see here. We also came down to close to the 50 SMA on the weekly on the SPY. So a little weekly chart look there. If we go ahead and look at the IWM, same thing. We got a bounce off the 50 SMA. We're still holding above the 50 SMA on the IWM. IWC. This is the micro caps now, and we're also holding above the 50 SMA here on the weekly, the yellow line. We came down to it, we bounced off of it, but we are trying to get back above the 10 SMA here on the IWC. Same thing for the IWM. We are trying to, we did hold here. Now we need to get back over the 10 SMA on this weekly chart to show that, we're back and in good strength on the weekly chart on the IWM. But good show up here by the bulls to bounce us off this 50 SMA. Now they need to push us up through the 10 SMA on the weekly chart. If we go ahead and look at the IBB on the weekly chart, we note that it also is holding above the 50 SMA for the IBB and trying to get above and hold above the 10 SMA on the weekly for the IBB. IYT. We're holding this 20 SMA area here for the IYT, but we're still below the 10 SMA on the IYT, and this is the transports, such things as FedEx, UPS, the airlines, trucking companies. So, we're holding this 20 SMA, but still below the 10 SMA on the IYT. XLE. Very ugly in the energy sector here. All right, we're below the 10. We're actually below the 200 on the weekly. We came up to that 78 area and we've been straight down since then. Let's take a quick look at the XLE on the daily chart, and you can see we're below the 50, below the 10, below the 100, trying to hold this 200 SMA on the daily chart. So after that big push down here in the energy sector, and a lot of energy stocks just look very weak right now for the XLE. USO, we'll take a look at that. Oil was up about 4% for the week. We did bounce off of the 20 SMA on the weekly chart, the daily chart. We held above the 100 SMA, about that 1175 area for USO. And as you can see, we're trying to get back above the, we are above the 10 SMA, trying to get back over the 20 SMA here on the daily chart and holding above the 5 EMA on the USO. If we go ahead and look at oil itself, light sweet crude oil, WTI on the daily. So, after pushing down to about that $58 a barrel area, we are getting a move back up. We are back above the 50 SMA, trying to get above the 13 and the 50 and the 10 here, and that $62 level for WTI oil. If we go ahead and look at it on the weekly chart, we held the 20 SMA. All right, so we held this 20 SMA on the weekly chart. Now we need to get back over the 10 SMA, which is about 61.76 for the weekly charts. We'll call it $62 a barrel for oil. That's the number they need to get back over. Let's take a look at the VIX. all right, because the VIX did pull back. You see here we're back below that 20 number for the VIX. We were as high as 50 and change on the VIX, and now we've pulled back to about, below 20. Here's the daily chart. All right, so VIX, a lot of the volatility came out of the market, but compared to where we were around that $9, $10, 9, 10 spot on the VIX, we're still, double that right now, all right, on the VIX. So we still have a little bit of, uncertainty in the markets. Some of the complacency has gone out of the markets, so we'll see how that's going to play out next week. If we go ahead and look at the bond TNX, the 10-year bond, you see we are creeping up closer to this 3% mark here, all right? Bond has been on a nice run. And once again, this all comes about from what is the Fed going to do? Is the Fed going to raise rates 3 times? Are they going to raise them 4 times? Are they going to be gradual? Are they going to be fast? So that's all going to play into, if we break above this 3% on the 10-year Treasury, okay? So keep that on watch, for the weeks ahead. Let's take a look at silver. Take a look at silver and gold here. Silver basically on the weekly chart, we need to get back over probably that 1650 area for silver. Let's look at the daily chart for silver. We're still below the 200. Probably needs to get back over, 1625, 1650 for silver to, get going here. Gold, GLD, with the dollar showing some UUP showing some strength, a little strength on Friday, coming up off the lows here. GLD did pull back a little bit, but not much. You see, we have that 129 spot up ahead for the GLD after this nice run from 124. We are still holding above the 5 EMA on GLD. If we look at it on the weekly, we're holding above the 10 SMA for GLD, and as we're basing under that 129, 130 area resistance right now for GLD. Let's look at the SMH real fast. SMH still below that 110 resistance spot, but we are trying to get back over, or are back over the 10 SMA on this weekly chart, so good strength by the bulls there. If we look at it on the daily chart, we bounced around that 150, 200 moving average for the SMH, but kind of similar candle to the rest of the market. We came up to this 104 spot, a little bit of an inverted hammer here. Now we have to see, are we going to get continuation back to the upside, or are they going to break us back down or pull us back, and pause a little bit on the SMH? So that to be determined. XLU was up 3% for the week. So I don't know if that's a little bit of a hint of where interest rates are going, but the XLU was up 3%. It's been, pushed down quite a bit. We did come to this 200 SMA on the weekly chart for the XLU, and they did bounce it off of that. So nice little recovery here in the XLU utility sector. All right, so that's a little bit of the markets, and now we'll get into some of the bigger stocks coming up. So let's take a look at Apple first, as it is in the Dow, it's on the Nasdaq, and it's in the S&P. So beautiful bounce here on Apple from that 150 spot, the 300 SMA moving average, the orange line you see here on my daily chart. Now we're up near that 175 spot and a little bit of a pullback, but still holding above the 50 SMA. So nice recovery here on Apple. Also on the weekly now, we came down and we held that 50 SMA on the weekly, and we are getting back above the 10 SMA for Apple. Now we have to see if it's going to continue higher, take a rest, consolidate. So that to be determined yet on Apple. Amazon, just powering, strong stock. The leader, obviously, in the market, holding above the 5 EMA. We did get that pullback when the market was, fading off for all stocks, but a nice bounce right off the 50 SMA for Amazon and a nice recovery there. The weekly still showing good strength, holding above the 10 SMA for Amazon. Netflix, another leader, holding well above the 10 SMA. Not really, hurt too much by the correction. Netflix holding strong, and then Google on the weekly, currently holding around the 20 SMA on the weekly, but fighting to get back over the 10 SMA currently on the weekly chart. And then Tesla, we'll take a look at that. Still about the middle of the range between the 300 and 360 area for Tesla. We'll look at it on the daily real quick. So, nice bounce here. Nice recovery, but a little bit of a sloppy kind of candle here right now, inverted hammer. What do they want to do next? They're going to break us down further, consolidate, push us back up. So we'll have to see, what Tesla, where that wants to go. Let's look at a few in the Dow as far as, market leaders. Boeing still remains very strong. There's the weekly on Boeing. Caterpillar, a little bit of a pullback to the 20 SMA on the weekly, trying to get back over the 10 SMA. Cisco had earnings this week. Very strong move up here on the weekly and the daily. So Cisco, very strong. We'll take a look at Microsoft, also holding up above the 10 SMA from Microsoft. And lastly, in the Dow, we'll look at, McDonald's, which was, having a big run here on McDonald's. We are below that 159 level and trying to hold this 50 SMA on the weekly for McDonald's, but testing it again. So we'll see where that wants to go. Some of the stocks that are having earnings coming up, one was Home Depot, so we'll take a look at that. Holding around the 20 SMA on the weekly chart here for Home Depot, and their earnings come up this week coming up. All right, so there's Home Depot trying to hold the 100 SMA on the daily. So, one of the market leaders also. We'll see where they want to take that one. All right, so now let's take a look at some of the worst stocks for the week, and then we'll get into some of the best stocks. But first, let's go into some of the worst stocks for the week. All right, so some of the worst stocks for the week. First one up is in the energy space. That was down 8% for the week. Diamond Offshore Drilling, DO symbol there, down about 8% for the week. BIIB, Biogen, down 8% for the week on that name. NAV, Navistar, down about 5% for the week. Riot, after that hit piece from CNBC on Friday for the week, this stock was down 29% for the week. And CNBC put out a link if you want to see that. You can go to my Twitter feed, Zozo Stock Watch, and you can see I put the link out on the hit piece from CNBC, and that was on Riot and pushed it down. PCRX for the week down 19%. OMER got clobbered this week, down 22%. ABEO also took a hit, down 11%. TTPH just got smashed, down 59% for the week as one of their drugs failed and to meet endpoints. APRI also took a hit this week, down 55% for the week. HMNY, after doing another offering, down 39% for the week. DARE, offering on this name, down 26% for the week. MNGA, they put a news blurb out each day, but still cannot push the stock up, down 14% on Magna Gas, down 14% for the week. VXRT took a hit this week, down 22%. Biotech name, AVGR, took a shot, down 70% for the week. Medical devices there on AVGR. KDMN took a hit, down 24% for the week. INPX for the week, down 37% for the week. Software application company, INPX, big hit there. GLMD, our last one, down 39% for the week. A biotech name. So that's some of your worst stocks for the week. All right, let's look at some of the best stocks for the week. first one up is AQMS, which was up 85% for the week on AQMS. Nice showing there. It's a smaller name, but it got huge volume this week, 25 million shares in that. And so that one might be on watch for continuation. AQMS, nice pop, up 85% for the week. ZN, they came out with an oil discovery, up 78% for the week. Fossil was up 73% after their earnings. A lot of shorts got caught there. FNJN had a nice week, up 66%. HTGM had a nice week, up 48%. SEDG after their earnings, up 43%. XTNT, nice pop there, up 40% on XTNT. TWLO had earnings this week, up 35% for the week. MULE had earnings this week, up 29%. HIIQ, big pop in that name, 36% gainer for the week. FTFT, big mover on Friday, up 30%, 31% for the week. Wix had a nice week, up 27% for the week. CARB, also a nice pop in that name. Software infrastructure, up 29%. Soda, after their earnings, got a nice pop, up 10%. WBAI, they had earnings up 36%. Cala got an upgrade from Citigroup. All right, and up 11%, maybe just starting there on Cala, so I'll have my eye on that one. UAA, Under Armour, up 26% after their earnings, or UA, either one, UAA, both up 26% for the week. CNX, a surprising oil name, up 17% for the week. This oil and gas name, so maybe something going on there. Keep your eye on that one. CMG, also a nice pop after they get a new CEO, up 20% on Chipotle Mexican. AMAT had earnings this week. Stock popped up 14%. Trip had earnings this week, up 13%. The steels just went bonkers on Friday after the tariff talk and whatnot. So a lot of steel names up. U.S. Steel up 31%. AKS up 32%. CLF, nice pop there, up 20% on Cliff. TMST, another steel name, up 21%. NUE, nice pop, up 11%. SCHN, also a nice pop there, up 10%. We're actually in a swing trade in SCHN in the service, so let's see if we get more continuation in Schnitzer Steel. SQ, a nice week, up 11% for the week. Baidu had earnings last week, and they rewarded it with a 13% pop. Cisco, like I mentioned, they had earnings last week, and it got a 12% pop on Cisco. And then lastly, as our best stock for the week, one of our best stocks for the week, VLO, Valero Energy, a refiner. So if oil is going to continue to move down, usually the refiners will catch, buying in them. So there's VLO and HFC. HFC has earnings next week, so keep your eye on this VLO, all right, Valero Energy, if oil continues to move down. For the week, it was up 6%. All right, so that's your best stocks, some of your best stocks for the week. So basically, in conclusion with this video, and I'll take a quick look at the financials. This whole thing, the market now kind of rests in Jerome Powell's hands, okay? And we do have some Fed speak. I believe he comes and he's going to be speaking in February, towards the end of February, so maybe next week. But a lot of Fed speak this week coming up. As you can see here with the financials, a nice bounce. You're hearing a lot of, that mantra of don't fight the Fed. And the big concern is, how are they going to raise rates? Are they going to raise rates quickly? Are they going to do 3 rate hikes, 4 rate hikes? And what is this guy, Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, what does he want to do with the economy of the United States, and where does he want to send it, as he is probably the second most powerful man in the world is Jerome Powell right now. So I've neglected to look at the XLF, and as you can see, we got a nice bounce in the banks here, like a lot of other sectors. We are holding the 20 SMA for the financials. We are back above the 10 SMA. Names like JP Morgan, Citigroup, and I'm showing you these on their weeklies, Bank America. Then some of the regionals, Zion, HBAN are some of the names there. But, the banks are looking good, looking strong, looking steady. So keep your eye on the banks. If they're going to be raising rates, usually the banks will move up. And also, didn't look at my NVIDIA each week. I like to look at NVIDIA, and NVIDIA holding very strong here, under that 250. And then here's the quarterly of the Nvidia chart. This is the quarterly chart as new money continues to come into Nvidia and not too worried about this big run. They're looking towards the future, I guess, and I guess the future is bright, right, for Nvidia. So they're not too concerned about this huge run that I'm showing you here on the quarterly. And then there's the weekly chart for Nvidia. Very strong chart. Let me go back to the quarterly here. Just be careful if you're putting fresh money into Nvidia here on the quarterly chart. Keep that in mind, how far we've come. All right. So that's going to wrap it up. This is the Let's Get Ready for the Week Ahead. I will do another video later on, probably sometime Monday as the markets are closed, and we'll see what the futures do tonight with the markets being closed in the United States. But I'll put a watch list together for Monday and actually, I guess for Tuesday, and see what I can come up with as far as stocks to watch. That Mike from ZozoStockWatch.com, and this is your Let's Get Ready for the Week Ahead. You're more ready for the week ahead than you were before.